I do, Dave, QSL. This is John from Decula, Georgia. Decula, Georgia. Kilo 4 Sierra Whiskey Victor, and thank you for picking me up. No, I'm good, Dave. I just stopped by at the tail end, and I just wanted to see if you guys could hear me. I'm running 10 watts, so that's good news for me that I'm getting out today. Thank you, Dave. Kilo 4 Sierra Whiskey Victor, 73. This is a new beginner's ham radio video. I bet you thought I was going to give my call sign first. This is Kilo 4 Sierra Whiskey Victor. And I've been a general for a couple of years, and I want to let you know that I have really struggled with mic fright. I just don't know why. I don't have any problem talking to people. I don't have a lot of trouble with that. But whenever I would get on the radio and I would get ready to make a contact, I would key the microphone and I would just kind of become unwired. And all of the things that I thought that I was going to say, I would end up saying something different. And you know, ham radio operators in general are very forgiving of that sort of thing. And I met a lot of nice people who were very encouraging even through my mic fright, but I never overcame it. So recently I set about how I would overcome mic fright. I found a very helpful video from N4CCB, Cliff on QRP School, where he talked about having a little problem with that himself. And so that was helpful, but I didn't actually overcome mic fright. So I tried to figure out exactly what is it that's causing me so much anxiety when I go on the air. And one of the things is a lot of experienced ham operators, they repeat call signs very rapidly back and forth. They'll repeat yours, they'll repeat theirs. They'll do it throughout the conversation, and they'll call you by name. They'll spell your name phonetically, and it all happens very fast. It all happens a little too fast for me. I'm a Southerner. I don't talk that fast. I make pauses between my words, and so I sometimes pause and think about what I'm saying, and that doesn't convey all that well on ham radio. But the biggest issue was that I didn't really know my phonetic letters as well as I thought I did. I thought I had learned them, and if you asked me to repeat the alphabet, I could do that. But copying call signs was one of the hang-ups that I was having. So the first step in overcoming mic fright was I sat right here one day. I had a couple of hours while I was working, and I didn't have anything that I had to do. And so I read some of my manual here phonetically. I just started reading Echo Lima Echo Charlie Romeo Alpha Foxtrot Tango Kilo X-Ray 2. And it really surprised me that even the letters of my own call sign, sometimes I would, in the middle of saying it, I would forget what they were. K4SWV, Kilo 4 Sierra Whiskey Victor. And spelling my own name, Juliet Oscar Hotel November. And so spending a couple of hours just reading a book in the phonetic alphabet, I noticed that all of a sudden I could copy call signs much more rapidly as I was hearing them, and I began to hear, as I would hear the phonetic pronunciation, the letter would come to mind automatically, or vice versa. When I would see the letter, the phonetic pronunciation would automatically come to mind. So spend a couple of hours doing that if you're suffering from mic fright, and you might find that that solves a lot of your problem. Well, I solved that problem, and I still just ran into a brain jam when I would key the microphone. And by chance, I read a little article on ARRL, and it was an article for how for beginners to talk single sideband phone on HF. It was a fairly short article, and it basically said, talk the way you would talk on a telephone. Most of the QR phrasing that people use are from CW. When people say QSL and people say QRP and QTH and all this, it's not really necessary for you to know all of that. It's not really necessary for you to repeat that back to them. You'll learn that in time, and I've picked up a few of those and I use them now, but you don't have to repeat that to everybody. Talk as though you would to somebody on the telephone, and be sure that every now and then you pronounce your call sign. That's really all there is to it. When you finally make that contact and somebody comes back to you with your call sign, then just talk to them like you would if you had made a telephone call to them. And I found that relieved my anxiety and that relieved my stress level just tremendously. And I have really enjoyed making contacts and talking to people, and in time I will become a better operator, and I will sound like a lot of them do more than I do now. But right now I'm enjoying making contacts and talking to them just like I would having a telephone conversation. So I hope that little bit helps you today. I'm going to do another little video soon, a beginner's video. When I did my first ham radio beginner's video, I had built a thing I call the Shack in the Box. And I had incorporated this radio and antenna tuner and power supply and battery and most of the stuff that you see over here in a Go box, because I wanted to be able to take my ham radio with me when I travel. And that was just a bad idea because it was heavy and clunky and did not go as well as it sounded like it would. So I've taken all of that stuff out of my Go box, and I've gotten a new radio. I've got an Elecraft KX2, and while a lot of ham radio operators would not recommend this radio for beginners, I absolutely would. And so I'm going to do another little video soon, and I'm going to tell you why, if you're a beginner and you're serious about the hobby and you're going to spend a good bit of money anyway, you may want to look at this radio. So thank you for watching this. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and give me some comments if you didn't. And we'll see you next time. 73 Kilo 4 Sierra Whiskey Victor.